Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big issues going on as of right now. We have two major big things. Number one, when it comes to Xbox, and number two, when it comes to one of the more popular games that just came out as of right now, which I actually have been playing up on Twitch if you guys are bored and want to swing by ever. But basically for this one, we do have the Jedi Survivor and, well, Redfall real-life cases that are basically causing a huge ruckus and stir. And in all honesty, I kind of agree with this big sentiment. Now, in case you guys are kind of curious on what this premise of this video is, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts and comments down below as we go throughout the video. This is in regards now to, well, basically people trying to go buy games in person, and we are seeing multiple different issues as of right this second of, well, there almost being no physical reason to have these in the first place. Now, I'm not going to be saying that to kind of go and dissuade normal folks who like to buy games as like a collector to have the physical presence or any of the sort, but more so the game companies themselves are essentially not even making it worthwhile for folks to even buy and have the physical version. So we're going to talk about this because number one, the Redfall has now been making the basically the news right now with it and having just random people basically having big notices and warning signs, but as well the Jedi Survivor game is also doing the same exact thing right now with the game itself only being for the digital download, even with the disc. So we're going to talk about this. So make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on, Twitter and Twitch down below. If you guys are bored or be hanging out on Twitch, I'm just kind of chilling. And of course, all the Amazon links down below for all the consoles. And let's dive into the news. So very first and foremost, I want to go talk about the Redfall issue because apparently now Redfall cases are now being spotted. It's kind of more crazy because it's actually coming literally with a warning sign where they say Redfall cases are now spotted with no 60 FPS stickers that are basically saying this game looks sketchy, it looks bad, and if you guys do not know, Redfall I believe is going to be having a longer term update as time goes on, like based on the next few weeks or a few months after Redfall releases to improve the FPS for the game because for some odd reason, it's not launching with that. So right now, a lot of folks have been keeping up with the Xbox game Redfall, which is coming out very soon, I believe just like a week or so, where basically I've heard about the game's lack of a 60 FPS performance mode at launch. So basically the game itself is kind of launching incomplete. It's coming, but Arcane seemingly needs more time to go deliver the smooth option. I'm okay with this to a point. Like I kind of just wish they would have just either like had it working. Like, I mean, duh. But at the same time, if they know it's going to be coming, they could add it on a little bit later on. If it works good, it's 30, which is not the usual norm. I'm okay with it as long as there's no like big groundbreaking bugs or issues. I don't think it's optimal. I would rather them have the game completed. But I get why. So basically right now, they actually have a brand new box art that is making its rounds for the game itself, where retail stores are making sure Xbox players actually know about this. It's actually been posted around a little bit. It's originally posted by the Windows Central's Jez Cordine. A physical copy of Redfall appears to have leaked early with a sticker on the back that even reads 60 FPS performance mode is not going to be available for launch, which you guys can even see like some of the retail stores are now putting this on the sticker itself. So basically right now, if you're getting the physical edition, you do not even have the best version of the game. You guys can even go and see, it's kind of dumb to even have this. They have Microsoft, all the game itself, etc., etc. Xbox Series X, optimized for Xbox Series X, online single player, online co-op, 4K Ultra HD, 60 frames per second. You guys can look literally right here, HDR. But of course, the game itself is not going to literally be 60 FPS performance mode not available at launch. I mean, like, come on. I mean, come on. So basically, this has been making the rounds where a lot of folks are still upset with Xbox for number one, also not releasing out the game in general to its full-on optimal ways. But on number part two is the fact that, like, it's just a disappointment. They wanted the game to come out with their full-on specs. They want to make sure everything's going very well. They want to make sure everything's like a good experience. But sadly, it just did not happen, and people are very, very upset with it. So that's number one. It's the fact that we're seeing all these big case dramas and openings and everything else where people are upset with it, and I kind of agree. It's kind of just a weird vibe. But part two is the fact of almost even a worse thing, and I want to hear your vibes on this, where we're now also seeing many cases of the brand new Jedi Survivor game, which I just downloaded myself on PC. I've been streaming if you guys are bored, like I said, on Twitch for the usual nice little show. But apparently now the people are selling these versions of the game for the PS5 and Xbox as not even having a physical release. Some of the people are actually saying that Jedi Survivor is not even releasing the game itself, where it's just a download code. So what Jedi Survivor is doing with physical copies should be illegal. Physical copies of Star Wars Jedi Survivor aren't even actual copies, but they're literally just giving you keys that unlock access to the digital version of the download. Now, this is somewhat of a normal thing. We have seen, say, like the God of War bundles or the Horizon Zero Dawn bundles that we've seen PlayStation doing. We have seen that. they just include a random digital code for you to download. I don't think that in particular is the world's worst thing. Like, that's fine. Like, it just makes shipping easier. Let's say you have it like in a big PlayStation bundle. Maybe the game itself might get scratched, or in shipping might be like thrown around, cracked. Like, I've seen a lot of issues, especially around the holidays, around Christmas time or whatever. Like, I've seen it. I know there's an issue. I know there's bugs with it. I totally get it. But the part two of it is that, well, what's the point of having a physical copy then? Like, what's the point? Now, I know some people like having the cases, but typically for me, I like the idea of, number one, game preservation. So basically the idea that I can play this game 10, 20, 30 years down the road. I still will go use my GameCube at times. My family still has the old Super Nintendo. We'll literally play games from the Super Nintendo on our Super Nintendo, like the actual like discs themselves. Not really a disc, it's more of like cassette, but you know what I mean. And so people are upset, number one, on the game preservation side, but number two, the fact that, like, if I literally wanted to go and get the game, say on my PS5 or Xbox, I'd probably just randomly just buy the game on the store if it's the same exact price, and then that's it. And then I just start downloading the game from my PlayStation. Because guess what? If I go run to Walmart, Target, Best Buy, or even order it on Amazon to be shipped to my house, or whatever it might be, I'm just going to get, like, I don't even have a disc. I just literally just have a random empty plastic box to go have a digital code. That's just weird. That's just strange. I don't think I like that. Like, it's a really weird thing. So people are obviously upset about this on both ends. So pretty soon they're going to say we have to stop using the term physical copy to refer to the boxes you buy at the store with pictures of video games in the front. Because it literally is all it is. Like, you're basically going in and spending extra time, money, and effort to go get it, or shipping, or driving, gas money, whatever, to go and get a random plastic box. Makes no sense to me. I understand maybe someone out there might like it, but I like the idea of having like the old school game manuals, the catalogs, and everything else. I like that. That is my vibe. But basically, as of right now, if you guys open these cases and people are getting upset with this, you open up the actual box and there's nothing inside there. There's nothing there. You can't have that like fresh feeling. You just open and see a random like 15-digit code, which I also want to remind you guys, like maybe it's just me, I hate having to type those in. Like, I'm a press guy myself, technically with Twitch and YouTube, so I get press copies for indie games and general games all the time. It's annoying because guess what? You have to go and type in 15 different letters, and yeah, boy's a little baby bit dyslexic, so I have to go and see that stuff. I have to triple check. That's why I hate whenever I have to go type in like my credit card information or debit card or whatever online, because I'm just an absolute idiot. I'm sure you guys can probably go and tell. And well, sadly, you don't even have the disc itself. So it turns out the physical version of Jedi Survivor does not even contain the game, at least not all of it, and early copies of the game and some other locations also have had this as well. Now, some locations may have it. I've seen like a few like kind of a toss-up. Maybe it depends on the region or country or whatever it might be, but I have seen this popping up and happening a lot more. And then the best example is, once again, probably just the PlayStation bundles, where they do include the game itself. Like, say, the God of War one that millions of people bought. And it's just really weird because it's kind of setting like a weird precedent right now where you just don't get to have that satisfaction. As well, some people do like to have really bad internet as well, which is kind of like someone I feel like people don't get really talked about too much, is if you're in like, say, like the middle of nowhere, you have data caps. I know some people have. This game was 150 gigabytes. For my area in Comcast, I only have about 1 terabyte basically limit. Now, thankfully, I pay for unlimited because I do a lot of stuff online for Twitch and YouTube or whatever, but some folks don't do that. So if you have 150 gigs, you can basically go through that entire download, about maybe like 1/5 of your entire monthly download, just overnight trying to download the game. And that's why some folks also go for the disc edition, let alone for game preservation, because what if in the future, 10, 20 years down the road, Sony takes down the game's server, or EA takes it down, or whatever it might be. And basically, Jedi Survivor is the first game to pull this on off, because a lot of big trends like this happening have been really rough. Hogwarts Legacy also locked physical copy owners out of the tutorial until they download the rest of the game, so that could always be issues long term. Halo Infinite's disc was similarly incomplete. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 didn't have any game data on the disc as well, and all these other various games too are just kind of slacking. They're just kind of there in the first place. So I just want to say this, I don't like this. Like, for me, number one, the fact that Xbox is trying to release Redfall without the 60 FPS, it happens. I don't want to harp on the devs too much. Deadlines are hard. I get it. As long as the 30 FPS works, fine. But the fact that other game companies have to go and mention that and bring that up and have them like on these, on the actual like the box itself. But then part two is we have these random boxes themselves that they don't even have the little games anyway, so what's the point of having these in the first place? So they do have a random disclaimer though that has download required, but I don't think that's enough. Like at the end of the day, I think I'm just frustrated with this stuff, and I just think it's stupid at the end of the day, and I hope this trend can finally stop after a while. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room if you guys are bored me hanging up on the Twitch right now, and of course all the Amazon links too as well down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place, and I want to hear your thoughts down below.